So, um, so I thank you for joining us on Sunday evening and being a part of the community. We have four incredible features who are joining us today from all parts around. And let's just let's just start getting into it. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to start. I'm going to start local here. Are you ready for this? Lakeda. Yeah, let's start local. Lakeda EK is a multi-published author and freelance editor who began writing when she was 13 years old. Writing was and still is a form of therapy for her. She feels that writing is a healthy form of expression that allows her to express herself in a way that cannot be controlled or restricted by anyone. Lakeda EK currently resides in Ohio in close proximity to her immediate family. They're immediate physically and emotionally, with her two children and their dog. And I will drop a link in the chat so you can learn more about her. Let us hear from Lakeda.
Okay, I forgot to unmute my microphone. So, hi guys. All right, so let me introduce myself. I spill my soul on paper for the world and fans to read, and then I'll tear that very paper just to watch the letters bleed. A lover to the lyrics, but a whore to every verse. The writing is a blessing. It is also my biggest curse. To articulate your feelings so that others will understand makes it easier for them to judge you and see how much you're damned. However, this is who I am. I wouldn't have it any other way. If we haven't been introduced before, I am Lakeda EK. So I love poetry. I have 5 poetry books, and I didn't know what to read, so I went with what I was feeling. And it's unfortunately it's a lot of death in the air lately, a lot of sadness. So I'm going to go off of reading poems that I've written for people who passed away. Um, this first poem is a poem that's my favorite and my mom's favorite. And anytime someone passes away, I send it to them just because um, I just feel like it's my way of expressing my condolences, and I feel like people can relate to it. If letters could be delivered to heaven, I would write you a book. If water could lead me to where you are, I would start at the smallest brook. If my heartache could be your roadmap, it would lead you back to me. If my tears could bring us together, then I would cry for eternity. So I love that poem. Um, all right, so here we go. This first one is to my aunt. She's been gone since 2013. And during COVID, I had a dream and I woke up and I decided to write about it. Today, you were in my dream. I couldn't understand why that was so significant. I interacted with you as if your being there was normal, but deep down in my subconscious, I knew that it wasn't. You stressed to me that everything was okay, even though in my dream, nothing was really wrong. You even had a surreal glow to you in an average lit room, and I assumed it was because you had a big personality. My assumption was wrong. The closer to consciousness I became, the more I realized why your being in my dream didn't make any sense. As warm tears streamed down my face, I remembered that you left a long time ago. However, your being there felt so real, so normal. I haven't dreamt about you in a long time, but today I'm glad that I did. This next one is about another aunt that passed away during COVID. Um, she had a firecracker spirit, but a mind to wish you well. And in the breath she'd wish that pleasantry, she'd turn around and give you hell. But that wasn't, but that was only if you crossed her, which was kind of hard to do. And if she loved you like her own, she'd give her life for you. Damn. Her life was all she had, which ended much too soon. Time forever stopped her clock at 32 minutes before noon. Heaven gained another angel. Her wings were pearly white. Her departure from here is so painful, but we know she'll be all right. She's joined us. She's joined those no longer with us, forever watching us from afar. Toward the heavens and through the clouds, another shining star. So if you ever see a twinkle streak out across the sky, Rejoice for the life that she lived, because she would hate to see you cry. This one is about an uncle of mine that passed away in 1994, and my daughter is actually named after him. His name was Larry, but her name is Alari. I had to figure out how to make Larry a girl's name, but you are a gay man in straight America, living in a world that didn't quite love you. You gave your early years to a country that still hadn't acknowledged that you were even human. Having to hide who you truly were while they used you until you were no longer useful, dumping you as an empty husk of the individual you once were, wandering aimlessly until you found your way back home, but only it wasn't you that came back. You spent your days battling demons that no one could see, while still finding the ability to smile during lucid moments. You loved those you loved hard, yet they loved you even harder. But in the end, even that wasn't enough. You've been gone almost 30 years, and the void you left is still prominent. The echo of your absence still rings loudly with each passing day. Time continues to pass as memories start to fade. Hearts break as loved ones try to cling on to what is left of you. Nothing has been the same, nor will it ever be. Though you may be gone in the physical sense, you will forever live on in the middle of the lives, in the minds of the lives you've touched. Um, this poem I wrote last year when I thought someone was going to pass away. They made it through, thank God, but the poem was already written, so I'm going to read that all the same. The tears are already flowing as I write this, but I've loved you from the moment I knew who you were. Wait, I can't. I can't stop crying long enough to articulate my feelings, the pain that I'm feeling, the reality of the inevitable, even though I was never ready for it. Watching the highest building crumble, the tallest tree fall, the oldest one, I never thought it would happen. Never believed it would happen. But I simply, but I was simply being foolish, living in a fantasy land, even as a grown woman. You were more than fire, you were more fire than brimstone, slowly pushing away anyone that was naive enough to come near. And I can't help but to wonder why that was. What happened to you that caused you to become the way that you did toward the end? I'm hurt that I allowed your pain to keep me at bay, to tarnish the memories that I tried to make with you. Yet bay is where I stayed because I refused to walk completely away from you, even though I should have. Hell, we all should have. But I've loved you from the moment I knew who you were, and I will love you until I no longer know who I am. This last poem, so I don't know who all remembers Stormy the Poet, but she passed away years ago. I know Joni knows. Her passing, it really affected me. I didn't realize it would affect me as much because I didn't like me and her never personally hung out or anything, but I would go to the poetry readings back in the day and she would read erotic poetry and she would just get so into it. And my sister and I were so fascinated with her stage presence, and she would just thinking about him like flashback into all the times I saw her read. So when she passed away during COVID, like most people unfortunately passed away, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional with all these poems. I wrote a poem for her. Her style was so different. It simply wasn't the norm. Her stage presence was powerful. You had to see her perform. She commanded your attention on a stage with no mic. She was a master at her craft. There was nothing not to like. Her poems had a rhythm, often followed by a flow. She painted mental images, but never just for show. You found yourself quite intrigued from the words that left her lips, and sometimes she even did a little shuffle, often moving just her hips. She was more than just an artist. Entertainer would suit her well, and she always showed humility. It was just her way, you could tell. I really wish she knew her impact on me. It pains me she didn't get to know it. May she perform spoken word in the afterlife. Rest in peace, Stormy the Poet. Thank you, guys.